So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a dormant oil spray. You can use this on fruit trees, nut trees, or ornamental trees. We're going to be spraying this on our crepe myrtles today. We've already sprayed our pecan trees, and we currently don't have any fruit trees up here at our house, but if you do have fruit trees, this works just fine for them as well. So what I do for my dormant spray, I use neem oil and Castile soap. You can use mineral oil and detergent, like a Dawn dish detergent, that's fine as well. Or you can buy the pre-mixed dormant oil horticultural sprays as well. Any of those will work fine. This is what I like. Neem oil is supposed to have properties that help to boost the immune system of the plant. I'm not sure if they have actual studies proving that, but that's what its claim to fame is. So I have a half-gallon sprayer, and what I use is 1 tablespoon of neem oil, and I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of Castile oil. But I'm going to put my water in before I put my soap in so I don't end up with lots of suds on the top. Okay, so we're going to put our soap in. The soap acts as an emulsifier for the oil so that it keeps it suspended in the water. Additionally, it has some properties of helping the whole dormant oil spray stick to the plant, and has some ability to help with the smothering process to any kind of parasites or opportunistic bugs that you might have on your plant. So that's the purpose of a dormant spray. A lot of times pests and bugs can bore into your bark on your trees and lay dormant all winter. In the spring they pop out and start infecting your tree. The dormant oil spray put on the trees during the winter time before they start budding out helps to smother those insects and prevent them from wreaking havoc on your tree during the spring. So we're going to actually be pruning our crepe myrtles today and getting them sprayed. So before we get started pruning the trees, always make sure you clean your pruners. You can transmit disease from one tree to another. Since we're doing all crepe myrtles and they appear all healthy, we're just going to clean this before we get started with a little alcohol wipe and then move on through the trees. So the main thing with crepe myrtles and pruning them early in life is developing somewhat of a trunk at the bottom and then a bushier appearance at the top. If you don't prune them down early on, you'll end up with more of a whole bush-like thing rather than a tree. So we're going to just be trimming off bottom branches that we don't want. We're going to leave hopefully about 3 main branches. Some may have 4, some may have 2. It really just depends on how they're already growing. These crepe myrtles are how many years old, Nate?
3.
3 years old. We bought these from the crepe myrtle guy in Texas. They were little bitty trees about like that when we first put them out here. And they've definitely taken off. These are, I believe, red rockets, or some people call them arapejos, but they're supposed to grow really fast, especially in height. These will top out at 20+ feet tall, so they're a taller crepe myrtle, definitely not a miniature. So I'm just going to start picking basically my 3 main trunks. I guess I'm going to leave this one, this one, and this one. Those are going to be our main ones, and then I'm going to go up a little bit and get all these extra little stems off. It's really good to spray your trees when you prune them because they're most susceptible to insect invading the bark and everything whenever you open them up like this. So this should be done when it's cold weather, when they're in the dormant state, and ideally if you can spray them at the same time that you prune them, that's definitely ideal.
So with the Dormant oil spray, you want to make sure you get all of the bark from top to bottom soaked really good with that.
Alright.
Moving on to our next tree, and I want to show you on the pruning process. This is what we took off down here at the bottom. So we left several, really I guess you would say 2 main trunks with a couple of main side branches coming off. This one here is going to need a little bit more cleanup than that one did, because we have a lot of stuff going on down here at the bottom. But mainly we have this, this, and this. These are going to be our 3 branches. Now, one other thing on these crepe myrtles, we do mulch them pretty good every year. So we'll be getting mulch in the next few weeks and putting a big thick layer around the bottom to kind of insulate them from our hot,
So stay
humid,
tuned, that's always fun.
yeah, our hot, humid environment here. They need to be fertilized as well in early spring. You saw previous videos where we put down the potash to give them a little bit of potassium, but we will be putting some additional fertilizer on them as well in the early spring. We've used chicken manure on these in the past, and that made a huge difference in the amount of growth. We actually planted some 2 years ago, and they completely caught up with the ones we planted 3 years ago, but we put chicken manure on them at the same time that we planted them. So I'm thinking that that might be a good option for fertilizing this year. We've discovered a nice Alabama treat of fire ants around the bottom of this crepe myrtle. And the fire ant killer.
Oh, you gotta get this down before it rains.
So I guess the whole method of scooping one pile of fire ants into another bed doesn't work, because that's what I did over here with this bed.
So this is very common to see with crepe myrtles, where you have a main trunk here, and then you've got all these little bitty baby shoots coming out at the bottom. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these shoots coming out around the bottom. Now those will end up making this more bush-like if you just let them go. We've got this good solid trunk here. I think we're going to pretty much just go with that and then prune upwards. I may, since I only have one good trunk, may let 2 of these other ones stay in there, but we'll see how it goes with the pruning. So take that one out, hold off on this one and this big one here. Take this one out and that one. Okay, so that leaves us with 3 trunks there, which is fine. Get some of these lower. I think we'll leave it like that. That's reasonable. More fire ants. They like to bed up around these crepe myrtle bases. This crepe myrtle is classically what you'll see with, a real bushy crepe myrtle. So we'll trim this bottom up and make it look more like a tree. We've got 4 nice stumps on this one that we'll leave, and we'll just get them cleaned up. It'll give it more of a tree appearance instead of a bush. And there it is, all cleaned up at the base.
So the dormant spray needs to be covering all areas of the bark. You want to put it on until it's basically dripping off your bark. A nice heavy coating of it. And try to get all areas of the tree covered. Here's one that we've already covered with the dormant oil spray. And as you can see, it looks wet. And pretty much all of the bark is covered. We've got the full front row done and all of the crepe myrtles going up the driveway to the house. How long did it take us, Nate?
I don't know, a long time. Like 2 hours.
Nah, an hour and a half.
2 hours.
Okay. So those will look really nice come spring and summer without all that brush down at the bottom.